Hey everybody, Big Mike here with Everyman Auto. Did you know that over 80% of you have not hit that subscribe button? If you're enjoying the content we're putting together, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave us a comment. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know what we're doing wrong. All of that will help us achieve our goal of 1,000 subscribers before summer. Thank you, and now, on to the video. 5.3 liter Vortec V8 engine putting out 295 horsepower. Not bad. 4L60E electronic 4-speed transmission putting out 330 foot-pounds of torque. Not bad. Maximum cargo capacity 1,300 pounds. Very nice. Maximum towing capacity, 6,000 pounds. Me like. GM's exclusive converter cab system. Whatever. Integrated beverage coolers. Who the hell were these guys? I want to talk to you about trucks. No, I'm not talking about these little mid-size crossovers or these pocket pickup trucks. No. I'm talking about big, honking, full-size V8 powered pickup trucks with the amenities to make the trip comfortable and enough torque to pull down a small building. You see, the time was you could find a pickup truck like that with the V8 engine and four-wheel drive and enough amenities to make things comfortable for right around $30,000 to $40,000. Nowadays, you can't find one for less than $70,000. And if you want one with all the bells and whistles, you're probably looking at over $100,000 after dealer markup and a bunch of useless dealer add-ons that you'll never need. Now, as you can imagine, this has left prospective truck shoppers in a bit of a quandary. Do they do things on the cheap and get something that may be a little smaller or with fewer amenities or maybe underpowered for right around $40,000 to $50,000? Or do they take out a second mortgage, get what they want, and plan on paying on it for the next 10 years? But what if I was to tell you that there was a way to get a big, full-size V8 powered four-wheel drive pickup truck with an impressive towing capacity, luxurious interior, and all the bells and whistles you could want for 10% of that $70,000 to $100,000 price tag? Well, that's what we've got here. Let's go take a look. This is my 2004 Chevrolet Avalanche Z71. It has all the things I mentioned in the introduction and more, and after 153,000 original miles on the motor and transmission, and despite spending most of its life here in the Midwest, it's in remarkably clean condition. But why am I mentioning a 20-year-old truck when we're talking about full-size pickup trucks? Well, the Avalanche, when it first came out in 2002, won Motor Trend's full-size truck of the year, right out of the gate. It came standard with a 5.3 liter Vortec V8 engine and a 4L60E 4-speed electronic transmission, and the combination of 295 horsepower, 330 foot-pounds of torque gave this truck the ability to do just about any job you could put in front of it. Add to that GM's exclusive converter cab system, and you had a truck whose versatility was completely unmatched. Now, anybody in business will tell you that the standard is to under-promise and then over-deliver, but General Motors didn't take that approach with the Avalanche. They went down to the engineering and the design teams and said, here's a list of prerequisites. This is what we need the truck to do. Aside from that, the leash is off Do what you want. Thrill me. Now, of course, whenever you take the leash off of an engineering or design team, well, sometimes magic happens. Now, the first thing that the engineering and the design teams agreed on was that this vehicle needed to have a spacious, luxurious interior that could seat 5 or 6 if you opted for the bench seat in the front instead of the individual captain's chairs. They wanted it available in various trims, in cloth and leather interior, with a multitude of options. But it didn't stop there. After the passenger compartment, they dropped a standard 5.5-foot bed onto the back of the vehicle, but they did not change the floor height of the bed in relation to the passenger cabin. This dropped the floor height of the bed down about 4.5 inches, and then they cut where you would see on a Suburban the rear windows, lifting the height of the walls of the bed about another 2. By increasing the height of the tailgate 6 inches, you could go from a 5.5-foot bed to an 8-foot bed just by opening the tailgate. Boom. Instant 8-foot bed. And if you purchased the optional wraparound cage, you had a completely enclosed 8-foot bed. But that was just the beginning. Remember, the leash is off. Remember in the introduction when I said integrated beverage coolers? I wasn't kidding. With the bed now laid out, the engineers and the design team realized they had a big gap between the outer wall of the fender and the inner wall of the bed of the truck. Well, as engineers and designers tend to do, they don't like to see space go to waste. So they installed a storage compartment on either side of the bed. Now the storage compartment comes down to about here and extends from here all the way to here on either side of the truck. But they didn't just make it a regular old plastic lined storage compartment. Oh, no. They lined that interior compartment the same way you would line a cooler. And anybody who knows beverage, no. These aren't beverage coolers. These are beer coolers. And any red-blooded American tailgater is going to back me up on that.
But wait!
But it didn't stop there. Here at the back of the vehicle, they decided to come up with a reinforced cover system for the bed of the truck to improve aerodynamics and provide a shelf to store or haul smaller cargo. And the system consisted of a 3-piece tonneau cover setup held in by quick release latches. So if you needed to access the bed of the truck, all you had to do was come around, flip a lever here, flip a lever here, lift, pull, and the cover was off. And because these covers were reinforced, they were able to handle a cargo load of 300 pounds, which means even my fat carcass can sit on this, and I don't have to worry.
But wait, there's more.
Say you had something small that you wanted to carry in climate-controlled conditions, and you didn't want it bouncing around in the bed of the truck. Well, the first part of converted cab takes care of that for you. By reaching over and pulling up the pad and dropping the backrest, just like this, you now have a small compartment within the cab of the vehicle that is secure, climate controlled, and you can haul smaller cargo. Say you're picking up 4x8 sheets of plywood or drywall and it's raining out. Well, you can leave the tonneau covers on the back of the truck, reach in, lower your midgate, which is this lever right here, and now you have an 8-foot bed leading into your passenger cabin, completely covered and free from the elements, protecting your lumber or your drywall from getting wet during inclement weather.
When
not done yet. Say you've got something bulky, that's oversized. It's going to be 11, 12 feet long and 4 or 5 feet high. And it's going to pass the tonneau covers and extend way past the end of a normal 8-foot bed. No worries. ConvertiCab still has you covered. By flipping these levers here and here, and then releasing the safety catch here, your rear window comes out and stows quickly and easily in this area here. You lock it into place, lower your midgate again, and now you have an 11-foot bed with a bump stop from the back of the back seats all the way to the end of the tailgate. And with the cargo capacity of 1,300 pounds, there really was very little this truck could do. And the best thing about the ConvertiCab system, the conversion from a 5-passenger short bed to an open back 3 or 2-passenger long bed hauler took less than 60 seconds. For the final phase of the design, the GM designers and engineers decided to incorporate the new aesthetic facelift that the Silverado received at the beginning of the 2000s. They also gave the Avalanche a rugged, powerful look by encasing the bottom third of the body in a thick plastic armored cladding. This provided an extra layer of protection against the wilderness. The end result was probably the most aggressive, versatile styling that I'd seen in years. When the Avalanche plowed into the market in 2002, it was instantly apparent that the engineers hadn't just delivered, they had over-delivered. GM now had a platform on the road that was more versatile than anything else on the road at the time. It should have been a smash hit. Yet in 11 years and only 2 generations, the Avalanche was gone. But why? Well, to start with, there was some confusion regarding the Avalanche. Despite winning Motor Trend's full-size truck of the year in 2002, or perhaps because of it, the confusion started when it didn't look like a full-size pickup truck. If you take a look at the Avalanche, it looks like a 5-passenger short bed pickup truck. The fact that the ConvertiCab system was so new, nobody had any idea what that meant. And unless a prospective shopper asked to see it demonstrated in the showroom, most casual shoppers would just walk by the Avalanche, never knowing how versatile that platform was. Now, an aggressive ad campaign seemed to clear this confusion up, but that was only the first of several problems that began to plague this particular vehicle. Now, the next thing that happened was the marketing. Everything depends on marketing. And when the Avalanche hit the market, it was initially billed as a crossover. Well, okay, I can grant you that it is a crossover vehicle. It crosses over from a passenger truck to a pickup truck with hauling capabilities, but that didn't stick. Crossovers tended to be mid-size or smaller. Then they changed it to sport utility vehicle. And again, while it looks sporty, it's a full-size truck. So that didn't stick. Finally, they coined it the ultimate utility vehicle, figuring that's going to get everybody's attention. But because nobody had ever heard of an ultimate utility vehicle before, that didn't work. Initial sales numbers were good. 2002, 2003, the sales numbers were consistent and rising. But then another problem hit the Avalanche. You see, an error in manufacturing of the cladding for the side of the vehicle led to the cladding starting to fade and become chalky about 6 months after vehicle purchase. See, it wasn't protected against the UV rays of the sun, and so after about 6 months, you got this white, stripy, ugly looking, chalky cladding instead of the luxurious dark gray or charcoal that was almost black that the Avalanche originally came with. Well, phone calls started, letters were written, GM had to respond. Now they did so by offering a one-time restoration process on the cladding, and the restoration did work. It brought that cladding back to that dark, luxurious color. Problem was, that restoration only lasted about 6 months. And then the letters and the phone calls started again. People had dropped $30,000 to $40,000 on this vehicle, and less than a year into making payments, they're having to bring it in for a body problem? By the end of 2004, Chevy decided, or GM I should say, decided they needed to respond again. And they began offering the Avalanche in what they called the slick side variant. And what the slick side variant was simply Silverado and Suburban body panels without the mounting points for the cladding, and a single 2-inch wide rubber strip that ran along the middle of the door line. Basically, they took away the unique, aggressive look of the Avalanche and kind of turned it into a chop-top Suburban. But it didn't matter. Sales numbers continued to go up and go up. And then, 2007, the Avalanche entered its second generation, got a facelift, and it got a whole new set of problems. Those of us old enough will remember the fuel crisis back in the late 70s and going into the early 80s. And they'll also remember the death of the classic muscle car and the 20-plus foot luxury vehicle. In their place, we got the underpowered, undersized, underimpressive daily drivers of the 1980s. And this was because the federal government had mandated certain benchmarks with regards to fuel economy that all auto manufacturers had to meet going forward. The end result were those underpowered and underimpressive vehicles. But as the 80s went into the 90s, technology improved, and several auto manufacturers started introducing something they called displacement on demand. Now, displacement on demand is not a new technology. General Motors had been experimenting with it going all the way back to the mid-80s, when Cadillac introduced the V468. Now, in principle, what displacement on demand does is it engages and disengages various cylinders inside the engine depending on the load requirements at the time. So, you may be firing on all 8 cylinders as you're accelerating up to speed. It may then disengage 2 cylinders or 4 cylinders once you reach your cruising speed. And then if you needed a little bit of additional power while you were cruising, it may re-engage 2 more. So at any given time, you'd be driving a 4-cylinder, a 6-cylinder, or an 8-cylinder engine. It was an unmitigated disaster for Cadillac. Come the early 2000s, General Motors decided that technology had advanced far enough to give displacement on demand another go. They marketed it as active fuel management. My mechanic friends call it another migraine. Now, I get it. You need to reach certain benchmarks with regards to fuel economy because Uncle Sam says so. And the easiest way to do it is to decrease the amount of fuel that you're going to need to use when you're cruising. Makes perfect sense. In fact, the theory is quite sound. The problem was in the mechanical execution of that theory. In 2004, this Avalanche with the 5.3-liter V8 boasted 14 miles to the gallon in the city and about 18 miles to the gallon on the highway. From 2007 to 2013, with active fuel management, the Avalanche's fuel economy jumped to 18 miles to the gallon in the city and 22 to 25 on the expressway. Now, compared to the fuel economy today, that's still not great, but back at the time, that was amazing. The only problem with active fuel management was the mechanical aspects of shutting off those cylinders meant that they got a lot of abuse. And we ended up with lifter issues and valves getting stuck. And the end result after about 100,000 miles was that 5.3 liter V8 would need to go in and have the entire top half taken off, lifters and valves replaced, and the repair was around $2,000 to $3,000. Well, obviously this wasn't going to go over real well, but there were other things happening at the time as well. From 2005 to 2007, the housing market started its decline. 2007 to 2009, everybody could see the bubble bursting, and the sales for the Avalanche began to decline. 2009, the bubble popped. We were in the Great Recession, and the sales for the Avalanche plummeted. By 2013, the pre-orders for the 2014 model numbered only 16,000. It was determined that the 2013 Black Diamond Edition Avalanche would be the end of that line. It's time to pull the plug. Hey everybody, Big Mike here with Everyman Auto. We are now an Amazon affiliate, so if you see a product that we use in our videos that you would like to try out, be sure to use the link down in the description below. Help the channel grow, help us out a little bit. We really appreciate it. Now, let's get back to the video. The end of the 2013 year, it seemed to be all for the Avalanche. It was one of those concept vehicles that was praised by critics, embraced, for the most part, by the public, sold well, and then hit hard times, just like the people trying to buy it. The end result was a vehicle that was here one minute, gone the next. But then something strange started happening. You see, over the last 10 to 15 years, as truck prices have gone up and up and up, people like you and me have decided to take a second look at these unique vehicles. And what they're finding is that because it is just now entering the realm of the classic car, they haven't started to appreciate much yet. You can find a clean one for around $7,000 to $10,000. And a really clean, low mileage version will probably run you from $10,000 to $15,000, which is roughly 10% of that $70,000 to $100,000 highway robbery that a dealership is going to charge you for a 2024 Silverado. Why spend $70,000 when you can spend $7,000? Why spend $100,000 when you can spend $10,000? And with basic maintenance, this vehicle will get you 300, 400, 500,000 miles. It's got a towing capacity of 6,000 pounds, 3 tons. And if you're lucky enough to find one of the old 2500 versions with the 8.1 liter V8, yeah, it's going to kill you in gas mileage. 10 miles to the gallon in the city and maybe 14 on the highway. But your towing capacity doubles from 3 tons to 6, 12,000 pounds. It's incredible. So now what I want to do is take you on a tour of the vehicle, show you what I like and what I don't like about the Chevrolet Avalanche. Then we're going to do a quick lap around the vehicle, and I'm going to show you the things that this is going to need, because despite being in remarkably clean shape, I've had this thing for about 3 or 4 years now, and I've beaten the snot out of it pretty good over these last 3 or 4 years, and she's going to need a little bit of love. So, without further ado, let's get started. So what do I like about the Avalanche? Well, this is easy. This cladded look makes it look unique. The chop back makes it look unique. It's just got this unique silhouette. And it's got a very aggressive stance that basically says, anything you can do, I can do better. So get out of my way. I'm coming through. I like the interior. I like the fact that you can go with cloth or leather, and both are luxurious with the dual zone climate control, the integrated 6 CD changer in the stereo system. It's got everything that a Suburban or a Silverado would have at the time. And because it's based on that same platform, there's a very short learning curve. If you've owned a Silverado or a Suburban or a Tahoe, the learning curve for driving one of these is very, very short. And then finally, we got to talk aesthetics. I mean, come on. with the prominent bow tie and the chrome trim and the cat eye redesign that the Silverado received and the Avalanche was born with, its aggressive stance. The first thing that came to my mind when I saw this truck was,
God damn, it was beautiful.
You see this truck coming up behind you, day or night. It looked like something out of a sci-fi movie. In fact, kind of funny, one of my fellow content creators, Tyler Hoover of Hoovies Garage, if you haven't checked out his channel, head over and do so. He's great. I'll put a link in the description down below. Well, last year he picked up an old 1987 Buick Grand National, and while he was looking at it on one of his videos, he commented that the front end reminded him of Darth Vader. Okay. Wait, Tyler, if the National is Darth Vader, then the Avalanche is the Predator. Now, as far as coming up with 3 things I don't like about the Avalanche, that was a little more difficult because I really love this truck. But if I had to come up with 3 things that irk me about it, first thing I would say is the cladding. Now, I know I said before that it's one of the things I love about the truck, and I do. I really, really do. The problem with it is GM's either lack of desire or lack of ability to correct the cladding issue with the first generation Avalanches really left a lot of customers in the lurch, and we had to kind of come up with our own solutions. In this case, these have been painted. The second thing I'm not too thrilled about, but I like, are the tonneau covers. Yes, the quick release system with 2 latches, lift and pull, is great. And they provided a canvas bag that you could store those tonneau covers in when they were removed, and that was nice. The tonneau cover bag would bolt directly to the side of the bed of the truck with the integrated tie downs that were included. But at the same time, they're really heavy, and if you're a smaller person like me, I'm 6'3", the only way you're going to get that first one off, which has 4 latches on it, 2 in the front and 2 in the back, is to climb up into the bed, reach underneath there, pop those latches, and then carry the last cover off, or drop your mid-gate and get those front latches that way. I think they could have come up with a more efficient way of removing them. And then as far as storage goes, again, I think they could have come up with a more efficient way to store them. Because if you lash them to the side of the bed, you lose about a foot, maybe a little bit more, of space in that bed. And if you're doing this in the field, you've just lost a chunk of cargo capacity. So I think that could have been done a little bit better. Finally, the storage compartments. And again, I know I said that they are cool, because they are. The only problem was the integration of these storage compartments led to a pinch weld along the bottom of the fender. And this is where condensation would accumulate with changing temperatures, causing the fenders to rot from the inside out. That in combination with the cladding, and you couldn't tell how bad the body rot was without removing the cladding. And because the cladding was affixed in a semi-permanent way, that was a big job, and a lot of people didn't have the wherewithal to do that. So that I'm not too thrilled about. So those are 3 things that I like, and 3 things that I don't like about the Chevrolet Avalanche. Now, let's go through our problem areas on this truck because we have a lot of work that's going to be happening with this over the next couple of months. We'll start right back here in the back. Okay, remember where I was talking about the pinch welds and rotting from the inside out? This is what I'm talking about right here. Now, on a normal vehicle, this would look like something like surface rust. You've got the paint bubbling, but you could usually grind it down, maybe put some filler on it, do some rust stop on it, and then you'd be fine. Unfortunately, with the Avalanche, once it gets to this point, it's rotted out from the inside out. So this whole area would have to be cut out and replaced. It's even worse on the other side. Now on the passenger side, it's more of the same thing, but the brain surgeon who owned it before me decided he was going to mask it without actually fixing the problem. So he bent a piece of steel and just tack welded or bonded it over the rust and tried to hide it. Of course, it was visible when I went shopping for it, and I called him out on it and was able to knock a little off the price, but this is going to have to come out, so we'll also be replacing this whole area as well. Let's move on. After 20 years of use, the clear coat that protects the wheels from rust is, well, dead. So we're going to be doing a complete cleaning, an iron decontamination, and then re-clear coating of the wheels to protect them from rust and from rotting going forward. Now, I don't know how old the exhaust system was when I got the truck, but after 4 years of salt and snow, it's toast. So we're going to be doing a complete exhaust system replacement from the headers back. And we're not going to go single pipe. I'm going to install dual exhaust with a nice set of mufflers that give it a nice Chevy growl. We're also going to be adding some safety lights for when I'm working out in the wintertime. If I need to pull somebody out, I'll have those yellow and white lights on the sides, front, and back of the vehicle, just so I don't get hit. I also have LED replacements for the marker lights on the interior. One of them is missing, the other three are old incandescents. We're going to replace all those. We also have issues with the power windows. They're going a little bit slow, so we're going to pull those door panels off, take a look in there. They may just need to be lubricated, or they may need to be replaced. We'll address that as it comes. Finally, we'll do a complete detail of the engine, maybe repair some smaller items, and then we'll be all done. So we have a lot of videos coming up with this poor baby right here, and we hope you'll join us for them. In the meantime, if you enjoy the content we put together today, please be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the Chevy Avalanche. From all of us here at Everyman Auto, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Big Mike, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.